Bom dia, bem-vindos ao webinar Optimizing Inventory Management in the Fashion Industry. O meu nome é Joaquim Ferreira e eu sou responsável para a área de vendas de soluções de gestão na myPartner. Nós vamos fazer este webinar em conjunto com o nosso parceiro K3, que é um parceiro Microsoft holandês totalmente focado e especializado em soluções de software de gestão para a indústria da moda. Queria só recordar alguns detalhes antes de começarmos. Esta sessão, recordo novamente que vai ser realizada em inglês, ela vai ser gravada e poderemos posteriormente ter acesso à mesma. Se tiverem questões no decorrer da sessão, há aí um bloco do vosso lado direito que diz Questions, onde poderão escrever e colocar as vossas questões. Podem fazê-lo em português ou em inglês, não há nenhum problema. E também dizer que no final haverá um pequeno espaço para perguntas e respostas. Nós vamos fazer esta sessão, como disse, em conjunto com o nosso parceiro K3. Eu vou fazer a introdução à sessão e a Emily depois seguirá com o conteúdo e o detalhe da mesma. Um pequeno enquadramento sobre a myPartner, só para perceberem quem é que nós somos. Nós nascemos em 2004 e nascemos e continuamos focados em soluções de software de gestão, vulgarmente conhecidas como ERP ou sistemas de gestão. E nesta área temos vindo a evoluir e temos vindo a fazer projetos e a revelar competência nas áreas do software de gestão, onde se enquadram os sistemas de contabilidade, faturação, stocks, gestão da produção, qualidade, etc. Também, e em complemento, soluções na área do CRM para a gestão dos processos e das equipas de vendas, e um foco em qualquer destes projetos anteriores, em informação de gestão, que é hoje em dia cada vez mais relevante para as organizações, por forma a que percebam atempadamente o que lhes está a acontecer e possam tomar decisões para corrigir ou até melhorar processos. Relativamente a esta área que nos interessa, que é ainda a área da indústria da moda, seja ela do ponto de vista da produção, do retalho ou da venda, nós temos uma parceria com a K3, como disse há pouco, que é um parceiro holandês, e temos uma solução baseada no ERP da Microsoft, que é o Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, especializado na indústria da moda, ok? Nós já temos muita experiência na implementação de ERPs, temos mais de 250 empresas powered by Dynamics, ou seja, que utilizam estas soluções de gestão. Temos cerca de 100 pessoas, o que nos permite, neste momento, ter uma competência muito alargada por diferentes pessoas e ter uma capacidade de responder muito prontamente aos nossos clientes e aos projetos com que eles nos desafiam. E temos vindo a manter um estatuto de Gold Partner com a Microsoft desde o segundo ano da nossa existência. A sessão de hoje tem como tema, como disse há pouco, a otimização de gestão de inventário na indústria da moda. Estamos com cenários cada vez mais complexos, onde os consumidores têm o poder e nós não podemos ignorar as novas tendências de consumo e a disparidade dos diferentes canais da venda que é necessário suportarmos e alimentarmos. E, portanto, para mais detalhe e sem mais demoras, eu vou convidar a Emily da K3, que será a anfitriã da nossa sessão. Muito obrigado pela vossa presença. Emily, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Joaquin. So yes, welcome. I'm Emily Steestra, one of the fashion industry specialists working for K3. So at K3, we specialize in software solutions specifically for the fashion industry. We help our partners with sales and implementations, and we have a lot of different types of customers, wholesale customers, retail customers, but also quite a few manufacturers, as a matter of fact. What we also do is we do research to keep on top of the trends of what's happening in the fashion industry and do market studies. We write white papers and blog and organize industry events just like this one. So for today, we're going to look into inventory management and why is there a need to change the strategy of the inventory management. I will describe some of the changes. We're not going to make it too long. There's a lot going on, but we're going to describe some changes which are going on in the fashion industry, which actually push into the direction of the necessity to change your inventory management. So first, because of several reasons, production costs are becoming higher bit by bit. Every business is looking into their margins, and to be able to still guarantee those, we need to look into new options to make this possible. And next to optimizing the margins, the optimization of inventory management brings positive effects for the environment because we can diminish the number of trucks on the road to transport only a few products between stores and warehouses. What's also very important is the introduction of true omni-channel management and the introduction of circularity in the recent history. So this brings new challenges to the supply chain. Also, the customer is becoming more and more demanding, and they count on a direct delivery of the product they wish to buy. And if the customer cannot have the product straight away, you will find it somewhere else, mostly. So we've all heard about the end of season inventory excess of more than $4.3 million with H&M a few years ago when they didn't know what to do with it, and most of it ended up getting incinerated. Following that problem and the reactions of the public to this issue, H&M has introduced some drastic changes to their inventory management to prevent this issue from happening again. Customers do not accept a lack of sustainable strategy anymore, and the focus on social responsibility, which is already present amongst the fashion businesses, will become more and more important over the next period. So this will most likely happen even faster than expected because of the current coronavirus crisis. The move towards a circular supply chain introduces a whole new set of demands for the supply chain systems and the people who have to work with them. So another trend is the expansion of the marketplaces, which sell products of a lot of different businesses like Amazon. So businesses with a smaller piece of the market can also easily offer products from other companies with the logic of subcontracting the order from the business where the stock is held. This business then only needs to receive the order and ship it directly to the customer. And more businesses are looking into having a presence in marketplaces to easily connect to a large number of potential customers. This type of business processes introduce new challenges for the ERP and the supply chain systems, and an enormous increase of supply chain systems integrations, of course. There's also a trend going on where wholesale businesses need the inventory management to be done by the brands they represent. The brand then needs to have an insight into their wholesale customers' inventory, the sales and other inventory movements in order for them to be able to manage the external inventory just like their own. You need software that can manage all of this. And luckily, there are multiple ways in which you can introduce innovation in the way to manage inventory, which are already possible. So omni-channel presents a lot of new challenges for everyone involved in retail business. This is the new normal for every business in retail, and we're also sometimes calling this total retail. The customer is at the center of the business and decides the direction the business needs to go into. The need is clear: offer the expected services or lose the sales. And there are a lot of possible options of businesses flowing through multiple channels like we see represented here. In any case, the extra work needed to fulfill the needs of the omni-channel business will end up with the store employees mostly, but also very much with the supply chain staff as well. Everybody wants to transfer this work pressure to the software. So as shoppers move from one channel to the next, they expect a seamless experience. And we need software that can deliver that omni-channel customer engagement. We're looking for frictionless engagement across the physical and the digital channels. And that's also something we've seen in the very recent past. Everyone needed to quickly move to online sales because of the physical stores being closed. So flexibility is key here. We want to allow the customers to purchase when, how, and where they want and on any device. And the solution you want lets the customers view their own information on all the channels, but they also give insight into the customer history and preferences also from every channel. So when a customer comes into a physical store, I also want to see what they have bought online in the recent history to personalize the experience to my customers. So the personalization helps you predict what the customers want, offer better service in this cross-channel activity, cross-sell and upsell items as well. So not only does the personalized view offer digital options, but it can also work with IoT, because you can even deliver push messages to the customers in the stores. Doesn't happen a lot yet, but it is an option already possible with current technology. So what do we need to do to actually get there at this perfect space? So in the report, Total Retail by PricewaterhouseCoopers, we see that the software systems represent the biggest part of the problem with the introduction of omni-channel. We need system changes within all business partners, not only the brand owners, but also the raw material suppliers, the vendors, and the production facility. Every participant needs to adhere to the current standard of, for example, sustainability, and everywhere where recycling is introduced, the production, raw material supply, and processing requires the introduction of new systems. And correct, you need to have the budget to execute the changes, but without changing the systems, it will be very difficult to introduce what is needed to become or stay successful and grow into the unknown future of retail. And today, it's more important than ever to take the first step into the direction of omnichannel as soon as possible. So IT solutions need to support the employees in the stores and in the supply chain to be able to offer the desired service level every customer is currently expecting. So this starts with a good connection with the manufacturers, which is so much easier these days with modern technology, and it keeps ideation and manufacturing more closely together than ever before. This will be a big help to make the time to market shorter in the same time. So in a time where the retailer is looking into keeping stock as low as possible on their side and wishing for just-in-time deliveries, manufacturing will have to deal with the results of this change and needs to keep their production planning in the same place. So this offers opportunities too, as long as the systems are in place to support this. And to be able to put an omni-channel strategy in place, it's necessary to connect the data from the point of sale in the stores and the back office, where all the data is stored and can be retrieved to work with and analyze. This is where the supply chain and store operations are connected. So one intelligent vision of the inventory, sales, and sourcing can help to simplify your processes. And it's necessary to unify the operations across all channels at the same time as well. So what did we see traditionally in inventory management? Inventory is stored in multiple warehouses, also in the store warehousing, waiting for a customer to come along and purchase it. The online store inventory is also kept in separate warehouses in different countries to be ready to be shipped to the end customer when the sale has taken place. So this type of inventory management does not optimize the inventory localization. Keeping multiple warehouses with inventory locked away from where the customer could see it is very expensive as well. Some inventory will be in stores where it will never be sold, and other inventory is never even seen by potential customers. And this will lead to higher numbers of end-of-season inventory leftovers and an additional cost for the business. Where do we want to go to? If the inventory of all warehouses, including from the brick and mortar stores, is used to fulfill the orders from all customers from a centralized point of view, it's actually possible to analyze the best warehouse from where to send the inventory. It can come from a distribution center, but it can also come from a store close to the customer where there's more inventory than necessary for the projected sales. Innovative software systems will make it possible to calculate all of this very quickly as soon as the order is created in the system. The challenges start all the way at the beginning of the product lifecycle, of course, the planning. In the planning and merchandising phase, the retailers need to optimize the strategy and cost with cross-channel intelligence and analytics. So with data visualization tools you can identify the cross-channel trends in the customer demand and the market competition in order to merchandise more effectively. You need a solution which helps you ensure that the right products appear in the right stores at the right time. And with intelligent forecasting, you can distribute inventory and deliver hyper-local assortments based on data-driven understanding of what will sell, when, where, and to whom. So companies are dealing with several challenges in the area of the supply chain. Lack of visibility is a big problem in most businesses. They do not have insight into the complete life cycle of their products, nor do they have information which is sufficient with regards to where the goods are located exactly at any point in time. And there's quite some technology available to tackle this problem. But as you can see here, businesses are investing into a wide array of technology for the supply chain to actually tackle this. So which steps can we take? What do we do if we don't have an integrated system which allows for the introduction of omni-channel inventory management? In the past period, we've seen a lot of businesses investing into omni-channel solutions, but based on integrating the existing and isolated systems. This is very difficult, expensive, and also very time-consuming. And often the results of the effort is a lot of manual work, duplication of work, because systems are still not integrated in the way they should be. And they can therefore also not service the data needed for the optimization we're actually looking for. The first thing we need to achieve is a centralized ERP because of multiple reasons. To centralize the data in the first place, the different business areas will have access to the same data and therefore a single version of the truth. And having multiple systems with interfaces offers as many possibilities for errors and technical problems. So when all employees work in the same environment with the same data, and even the external partners use the same base, all have access to the same source of the truth. Not only internal employees should work together in the same environment, but look into giving your suppliers and manufacturers direct access to your environment to look up information and to update you on their status. And nowadays, this is very easy to achieve by creating apps which represent only the part of the ERP solution the external partner actually needs to work with, and which can be accessed through any type of mobile device because of the cloud-based nature of the solution. So preventing errors because of multiple interfaces is a very good way to save expenses. And actually the correction of errors in the system and the time spent to compare the data between the different environments is a very big source of expenses in any business. These expenses are mostly hidden and not taken into account. Collaboration, therefore, with the supplier is very important, but it's becoming more and more important, and not in the last place, because what we've seen happening as a response to the COVID-19 crisis. A lot of fashion retailers have canceled their orders even when they were in the production process or even on their way to the customers' warehouses. The public reaction to when this became clear has led to some of them revoke the cancellations, sometimes only partly, or sometimes they're just delaying the payments to the suppliers. This does not take away the fact that the manufacturers are taking the big hit from a supply chain perspective, and the industry is rethinking the way they're working with their manufacturers. Manufacturers are also rethinking their contractual agreements to avoid a repetition of what has happened in the past few months. So what we need then is a stronger collaboration of the brands and their suppliers to handle the current problems and to look into the near and more distant future. Brands should monitor sales data and exchange insights with their vendors and suppliers, then review their merchandising plans for the fall and holiday 2020 and spring 2021 seasons, according to the McKinsey analysts. So you need a solution that helps you build a more cost-effective, collaborative supply chain with end-to-end inventory visibility and a seamless partner and supplier communication. The centralized fulfillment and inventory management will help you move products smoothly from procurement and production to sale in any kind of channel. So you need a solution which makes it easy to deliver the stock the customers want, when they want it, with the intelligent forecasting and cross-channel inventory visibility. This will help you reduce time to market for new product and services because you'll have actionable insights based on the market trend analysis and the customer activity at the same time. So one very big thing that is happening currently with all the fashion business, and I read a lot of articles about it, and they all boil down to this: minimizing inventory. I recently heard someone mention we currently have enough apparel in the world for the next 6 generations of people. That's incredible. So inventory management is largely a balancing act to keep the supply as close to demand as possible. The news product, so the never out of stock products, and the seasonal products need an optimization in inventory management, and each brings their own challenges. To improve inventory levels, it's necessary to introduce a calculation based on predicted sales and no longer use the old way of working, where purchases based on historical data and a lot of gut feeling are used, and where you need to try and sell what has been bought as a consequence of this logic afterwards. This is still very much done, and it's much influenced by merchandisers deciding and creating the biggest order volume as possible to get the lowest price, instead of having demand drive the logistic processes. And this is something we need to change. Using inventory, which is already pre-packed as of the early stages of the supply chain processes, also offers a way to simplify the logistics systems and even very simply, well, between brackets maybe, automate the warehouse processes with robots. The manufacturer can already deliver the items you need in the prepackaged boxes, ready for you to cross-dock further to the customer. Also very important at the same time is optimizing the collection. Before, there would often be a large surplus of inventory at the end of season because the selection process was not strict enough. And the idea was that if a new style didn't sell well enough, we would just introduce a new one. This is not a way of working which is supported anymore, and most fashion businesses are in the process of optimizing the collection and minimizing the style count. This requires a higher level of curating, which is needed in the processes around product development and selection. We need to make sure that the products which are selected to go into production will be sold, and close to nothing is left at the end of season. The end result of this is not only to reduce the amount of waste at the end of season, but also a huge cost-saving opportunity as well, of course. In the complete business logic, the point of view of reduction of inventory, which will never find its way to the customer, needs to be embedded. Still, 70% of all garments end up on a landfill or get incinerated. Every improvement the fashion business can make to get this number down will have a big impact on so many different aspects, if not only the business itself, but also everything around it. And corporate social responsibility is no longer the responsibility of one or two persons within the business, but it needs to become part of the day-to-day logic of everyone, from the designer through the manufacturer to the factory outlet manager, and even after this. So from the digitalization point of view, which technologies can we use then? There's a lot of this already possible to improve the inventory management side of the fashion business, and quite some technology available to take advantage of. As stated, in the supply chain, the manufacturers are being hit hardest by the COVID-19 recession and the reaction of the apparel retailers to the sudden collapse of the customer spending. Not all manufacturers will survive this. We don't know yet how the contingency and future-proofing plans of the fashion world will crystallize, but some trends are already noticeable. Currently, the supply chain side for most businesses is not flexible at all. To be able to be flexible and make adjustments to the supply in an industry which has a recognizably long lead time and mostly depends on faraway sourcing, diversification will be necessary and is top of mind for a lot of decision makers. Near sourcing will be an opportunity for existing businesses to grow, but also the suppliers need to keep in mind that those close collaborations and changes in mindsets will be necessary to keep the inventory levels as low as possible. Everyone will benefit from a close collaboration between the manufacturers and the retailers. First of all, keeping a close eye on the balance of supply and demand everybody is looking for, and also allowing retailers to react to this with multiple smaller orders being made instead of pushing for the larger orders far ahead of the sales season. So manufacturers also should have a good look into their supply chain and spread their supply chain risks for their raw materials more than has been done until now. If suppliers also collaborate in the investigations into the sustainability side of their production and sourcing, it would be a big leap forward. A lot of businesses with sustainable production ideas are having a lot of trouble to find large-scale manufacturers to execute them. Instead of looking into each of the changes we're facing as a problem or a challenge, if we like it or not, they're coming. So they will require some investment into systems and partnerships, but offer a huge opportunity for growth as well. The fashion business is not known for being an early adapter of new technologies. We're seeing the industry gradually introducing the use of 3D design, mostly headed by high-tech businesses like Adidas and Nike, who have been designing in 3D for a while already. But most businesses are using 2D, two dimensions only for design, as has been done forever traditionally. Even though the introduction of the use of 3D design in the fashion business brings the need for a lot of additional changes into the business internally, but also certainly on the manufacturing side. the investment is always a profitable one for several reasons. At this moment, with the problems around the coronavirus, the need to introduce a very good digital representation of the fashion product has become very urgent all of a sudden because of the fashion shows not taking place anymore. Because it's not possible to share the physical samples of the products, having a good representation in a digital version, which has all of the details of the product, is essential. And we see the market is moving more and more towards online already, and that also depends on a good representation of your products. So this trend towards 3D technology is going to be very efficient in the product creation and finalization process as well, because it's going to reduce your cost, save time, and reduce the number of physical samples that you need. So it does require an investment, but it also guarantees a very large and quick return on investment. So from all angles, the introduction of more 3D representation of garments, shoes, and accessories will lead to a big time and money saving opportunity for any type of fashion business. RFID, NFC technologies, they already exist for dozens of years, but in fashion, they're not used extensively at all. First, it was because of the cost related to this, but this is no longer the case. But still, we only see a slow rise in the number of fashion businesses using this type of technology. But it's exactly in the fashion business where this type of technology can offer a way to reduce the manual and cumbersome work when you're working with styles and colors and sizes and fits. So managing all of this with near frequency or radio frequency will be a way to speed up the work of the people in the stores and the warehouses, and will be also one of those guaranteed cost reductions. All the businesses where the inventory management has been introduced with near frequency or radio frequencies have seen a spectacular positive effect of the precision of the inventory management in their systems. So having correct information about inventory levels will improve the customer satisfaction. For example, when you're searching for available inventory online or in the stores. So another type of technology is, of course, artificial intelligence. It will help you look into the future of your inventory. It can rapidly calculate the moment as well as the location in which inventory will be needed and the capacity to sell them. Artificial intelligence will give you the insight to the ever-changing trends in fashion while taking the current inventory levels and location into account. And when you're better informed about the trends in fashion, you will be able to quicker reduce new items to items which have a certain demand. And the time to market is one of the most important elements in the fashion industry in this moment. And there are multiple initiatives going on to attempt to improve this. So another option for new technology to be introduced is blockchain. It's already used quite a bit in the food industry, but in the fashion industry, we're only witnessing the first steps into this direction. And the introduction of blockchain technologies allows businesses to improve their life cycle transparency, which is something a lot of businesses and a lot of customers are looking for these days. Currently, the systems to track life cycles depend largely on manual data entry, like Higgs and GRI, but also the multiple production and raw material related certificates which exist, like the biocotton and certified suppliers, are still not a very trustworthy way of working. And when you're introducing blockchain technologies where all the participants linked to the blockchain need to approve the updates of data, it will surely increase the transparency and the reliability of the data that is inputted. So this complete information about the inventory and its origin is a necessity in modern businesses. Customers expect it, and we should lean towards introducing this no matter what type of business you're in. So lots of examples of inventory management strategy improvements. It's the most important point for success for a lot of fashion businesses over the past years. The focal point of the successful businesses has been the improvements made in their logistic systems. And the flow of the goods in an omni-channel world is so complex that you need to put a strong inventory management system in place to keep these processes under control. A recent study shows that investing into your supply chain to make sure it gets to a very high level of performance helps to achieve above average revenue growth for any type of business. The supply chain processes form such a pivotal part of the business processes that by not looking into getting them to the next level and not investing into new technology leads you to miss out on a big opportunity to guide the business into the next period and ready to be as flexible as you can towards the new challenges ahead. So here I have a few examples of businesses who have introduced very supply chain focused changes and done it very successfully. Inditex, according to Inditex, the key to their positive results is not only the fact that the customers love their products, but also the optimization of their inventory management and the collaboration between the different departments of the business. Another one, bestseller, very complex business with a very high volume of inventory. At this type of business, it's crucial to simplify your inventory movements, and optimizing your inventory management is key. They have introduced RFID throughout their full inventory flow, and this is one of the digitalization options which has led them into being ready for the next steps. Reese, in their inventory management, they've introduced drastic changes which are related to centralizing the view of inventory, so the orders can be fulfilled from any store or warehouse to the end customer. So this is what I said. A lot of businesses are still looking into achieving this, and we're seeing more and more of these initiatives happening. Footwear, followed by knitted clothing and leather goods, are the top 3 groups of fake goods that are copied into counterfeit products. And LVMH has launched a blockchain network to enable consumers to trace the history and authenticity of their luxury goods. In addition to being able to authenticate a product, the consumers will also be able to use an app to view the story of the luxury item, including the design and its raw materials, as well as the manufacturing and distribution. So this is a very nice way of introducing full transparency to your customers as well as to yourself. So lots of changes going on actually currently in the fashion businesses. We've seen in the past few weeks more than one open letter to the fashion design world screaming out for these changes. They're under a lot of pressure to produce lots of new products every season, and there are businesses who have decided not to follow these strict rules of seasonal introductions. So again, this is an example of what we can expect from the near future. People looking into minimizing their inventory, focusing on the real products which have a guaranteed customer. But in all of this, we need to increase our cooperation in the full supply chain with our manufacturers and our customers at the same time. So what is certain is all participants involved in the fashion industry will need to be flexible enough to positively react to whatever is coming our way, because we've learned right now we never know what's happening. So that was it for me. Big thank you for all of you participating in this webinar. And I guess if there are any questions, we have time to answer them. You can always reach us if you have any further questions or want to know more about the available software solutions or anything else. Okay. I guess I don't see any questions being populated. So like Joachim said, we will make the recording available to all of the participants. Thank you very much and have a very good day, and hope to talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you, Emily, for the great presentation. As you said, we will be available if you don't want to put your questions here, or even if you don't have it, it's great. So have a nice day e bom dia a todos.